Let's see. On the YouTube stream. %4 crop of frames. I think this is the configuration, eh? Please be smooth. 4% crop of frames. Oh, yeah. Eh? Okay. I think this is the right configuration for this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me check. Just very quick on Twitch. Oh, yeah. I didn't use my intro card. Drop of frames. I still have some alerts that says drop frames detected 25%, but I think
I promise you,
it's counting the previous stream. So let's go to channels. Okay, the really weird thing that is the bit rate. So let's go. Right now I have a decent internet, but whatever. Okay, the really weird thing that is the bit rate. So let's go. Right now I have a decent internet, but whatever. Okay, the really weird thing that is on Twitch. It seems really nice. Right now I have a decent internet. Do you see the buckle? Okay, the really weird thing that is on Twitch. It seems really nice. Right now I have a decent internet. Do you see the? Okay. Let's do this then. Okay, so what I'm going to here now. I was listening to the channel Horror Histories, so I think I'm going to continue with that. Histories, horror stories.
Thalidomide is a drug that was created.
I already heard that. There is some like mystery here. This one.
Lynyrd Skynyrd was an American rock band that gained worldwide success with songs such as Sweet Home Alabama
let's do
and
this.
Freebird. The band was originally formed in 1964 in Jacksonville, Florida, under the name My Backyard. The founding members were singer and songwriter Ronnie Van Zant, guitarists Alan Collins and Gary Rossington, drummer Bob Burns, and bassist Larry Junstrom. The band went through a couple more name changes before deciding on Lynyrd Skynyrd in 1969. The name was a mocking tribute to their old high school PE teacher named Lynyrd Skynyrd, who was known for his strict rules against long hair. On October 20th, 1977, the band boarded a Convair CV-240 airplane that was scheduled to fly them from Greenville, South Carolina to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, for a concert taking place the following night. The current members at the time were Ronnie Van Zant, guitarist Steve Gaines, Alan Collins, and Gary Rossington, drummer Artemis Pyle, bassist Leon Wilkeson, and keyboardist Billy Powell. The band also had 3 female backup singers known as the Honkettes, which included Leslie Hawkins, JoJo Billingsley, and Steve Gaines' sister, Cassie Gaines. Towards the end of their flight, the pilots realized they were running low on fuel and requested permission to land at Macomb-Pike County Airport. However, the aircraft ran out of gas before it could reach the runway and began to fall 6,000 feet out of the sky. The pilots attempted an emergency landing in a heavily forested area 5 miles northeast of Gillsburg, Mississippi. but the plane's landing gear caught the top of some pine trees, which caused the aircraft to go into a nosedive towards the ground. Singer Ronnie Van Zant, guitarist Steve Gaines, backup vocalist Cassie Gaines, assistant road manager Dean Kilpatrick, pilot Walter McCreary, and co-pilot William Gray were killed on impact. Van Zant died from blunt force trauma to the head caused by flying equipment inside the plane. He had a quarter-sized bruise on one of his temples. According to Artemis Pyle, one of the pilots was decapitated. The other 20 passengers on board were all injured. Guitarist Alan Collins suffered 2 cracked vertebrae in his neck, and both Collins and bassist Leon Wilkeson nearly had arms amputated as a result of crash injuries. Wilkeson also suffered severe internal injuries, including a punctured lung, and had most of his teeth knocked out. Gary Rossington suffered broken bones in both of his arms and legs. Backup singer Leslie Hawkins broke her neck in 3 places and received severe lacerations to her face. Keyboardist Billy Powell almost had his nose torn off and suffered severe lacerations on his face. The crash had taken place at night, and there was no fire due to very little fuel remaining in the plane, which made it difficult to see the accident. 2 of the band's crew members and drummer Artemis Pyle, who was suffering from several broken ribs, set out to find help for their friends. The 3 stumbled onto a farm owned by a man named Johnny Moat, who thought the men were escaped convicts. At the same moment, Moat gave out a warning to stay back.
Okay,
Artemis
now
Pyle
let's
claims he
clone
lost his
this
footing and began
little
to stumble
screw
forward.
or nail,
Shortly after,
so it looks
Johnny
like
Moat
the
fired a warning
tool
shot
is
into
being
the air,
hanged
and
on the
Pyle
board.
claims the warning shot struck him in the left shoulder. After the
Okay.
gunshot, Pyle yelled out, "Plane crash." Moat then realized his mistake and set out to help the injured along with Pyle and the 2 crew members. To this day, Moat maintains he did not shoot Artemis Pyle and only fired a warning shot into the air. In a 1997 VH1 documentary, keyboardist Billy Powell claims Cassie Gaines' throat was cut from ear to ear, and that she died in the arms of both Artemis Pyle and Billy Powell before Pyle
so
left to find
sad.
help.
The
Multiple band and crew members denied these claims,
Leonard
including
Skinner
Ronnie Van Zant's
story.
wife, Judy Van Zant Jeunesse, who posted the autopsy reports of the deceased members on the band's website in 1998, which made no mention of Gaines' throat being cut. The National Transportation Safety Board determines that the probable cause of this accident was fuel exhaustion and total loss of power from both engines due to crew inattention to fuel supply. Contributing to the fuel exhaustion were inadequate flight planning and an engine malfunction of undetermined nature in the right engine, which resulted in higher than normal fuel consumption. The NTSB later stated that they did not believe the engine malfunction was a serious problem or the true cause of the crash. A toxicology report found no signs of drugs or alcohol in either of the pilots. After the crash, the remaining members of Lynyrd Skynyrd disbanded and went their own ways, some forming new bands together. The tragedy had taken a heavy toll on the survivors, and many of them turned to drugs and alcohol to numb their pain. On January 29, 1986, guitarist Alan Collins was involved in a car accident which claimed the life of his girlfriend, Deborah Jean Watts, and left him paralyzed from the waist down, with limited use of his arms and hands. Collins pleaded no contest to vehicular manslaughter, as well as driving under the influence of alcohol. He would never play guitar on stage again. On January 23, 1990, Alan Collins died from chronic pneumonia due to complications caused by paralysis. In 1987, Lynyrd Skynyrd got back together for a reunion tour with Johnny Van Zant, the younger brother of Ronnie Van Zant. However, Ronnie Van Zant's widow, Judy Van Zant Jeunesse, and Steve Gaines' widow, Teresa Gaines Rapp, took the remaining members of Lynyrd Skynyrd to court in 1988 over ownership of the band. Judy Van Zant and Teresa Rapp won, and a contract was put in place stating that the band could only be called Lynyrd Skynyrd if 3 original members were present in the band. Judy Van Zant claims the band members had made a verbal agreement, or a blood oath, not to play under the name Lynyrd Skynyrd again. Judy Van Zant would eventually allow them to tour again without the requirement of 3 original members. But Artemis Pyle left in 1991 and has not rejoined the band due to issues with other members. Judy Van Zandt and Teresa Rapp receive about 30% of the band's touring revenue. In the early 90s, Skynyrd guitarist Ed King found bassist Leon Wilkeson asleep with his throat cut while on their tour bus. Wilkeson was rushed to the hospital and survived. Ed King believes it was Wilkeson's ex-girlfriend, Rhonda, who was sitting in bed with Wilkeson as he bled out. Sometime later, Wilkeson would serve 3 months in prison for beating up Rhonda. A year after this incident, Rhonda slashed one of Wilkeson's wrists, leaving him with no feeling in his little finger and some damage to the ring finger of his right hand. Wilkeson was found dead on July 27, 2001, in a Florida hotel room. He was 49 years old. Wilkeson had apparently been suffering from chronic liver and lung disease. His death was attributed to complications with emphysema. In March 2006, Lynyrd Skynyrd was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame along with Black Sabbath, Blondie, Miles Davis, and the Sex Pistols. On January 28, 2009, keyboardist Billy Powell was found dead from an apparent heart attack after reporting to 911 that he was having problems breathing. On April 3, 2015, drummer Bob Burns died in a car accident after his car went off the road and struck a tree in Cartersville, Georgia. In 2017, Judy Van Zandt took Artemis Pyle and Cleopatra Records to court to stop their production of a Lynyrd Skynyrd movie based on the 1977 plane crash. The case was given to the same judge that presided over the 1988 Lynyrd Skynyrd trial. On August 28, 2017, U.S. District Judge Robert Sweet ruled in Judy Van Zandt's favor and blocked distribution of the film. Although it has suffered multiple tragedies and constant conflicts with band members over its 5 decades of existence, Lynyrd Skynyrd remains an icon of Southern rock and a legend in music history. On Sunday, June 8, 2008, a man by the name of Tomohiro Kato drove a 2-ton rental truck into a crowd of people on a busy street in the Akihabara district of Tokyo, Japan. Akihabara is known for its many electronic shops that range from small booths to large business-run stores. In recent years, the district has also become popular with anime and manga fans for its wide selection of merchandise and its variety of stores such as maid and manga cafes. On Sundays, the main street that runs through the district is closed to vehicle traffic from 13 to 1800 hours, and the street becomes filled with people who browse the many shops. Tomohiro Kato took advantage of this event, and after driving through a red light, plowed the large rental truck into a group of people at an intersection that crosses through the closed street, killing 3 and injuring 2. As crowds formed to help those that were injured, Tomohiro Kato jumped out of the truck and began stabbing people, killing 4 more and injuring another 8. Police eventually chased Kato down an alleyway after one officer witnessed him stabbing a woman. After a short standoff,
I
Kato
think the
dropped his
saturation
knife
of
and was
this
subdued by the police.
really case is
20 minutes before
fine
the
for
attack,
the
Kato
overall
posted messages
composition.
from his mobile phone
Like,
to a website
it
and
pops,
revealed
yeah,
his
but
state
that's
of
kind
mind
of
and
the
intentions for the attack with messages
point
like, I will
of
kill
doing
people
this.
in
Like,
Akihabara.
it has to
I
be
don't have a single friend and I won't in the future. I'll
recognizable,
be ignored because I'm ugly.
but
I'm lower
not too
than
much.
trash
Like,
because at least the trash gets
it
recycled.
still needs to be
He
like
also made
it's
reference to
part
another
of
stabbing spree.
the photo.
After
So
police
let's
dug
see.
further,
We
they found messages
lower
of
down the
Kato talking about
exposure,
using a vehicle to run people over
and
until it
then
became inoperable, and then
I
using a
will
knife
play
to
with
continue his
curves,
attack on
but
foot.
I'm
A
kind
day
of
before the
lazy now. So
massacre,
let's
Tomohiro Kato sold his
just
personal
open the
computer and some
brightness
software
and
to the shops in
contrast.
the
So
Akihabara
no,
district in order to make
hue,
enough money to rent the truck
saturation,
used in
and
the attack.
luminance
When they questioned
or
him on why he
lightness.
committed such a heinous crime,
Let's
Kato explained his motive was to
desaturate.
vent his pent-up anger at society and demonstrate to all his tormentors, including people he claimed had been harassing him in an internet forum, of the consequences of their actions. The defense argued that Kato
These
was
are
not of
my
sound
god,
mind after
like
an
the otaku
abusive
killer.
childhood, and that recent harassment at work and in an online forum he frequented had pushed him over the edge. The prosecution, however, believed that Tomohiro Kato was sane after a psychiatric test was done on him, and mentally competent enough to know the magnitude of what he was about to do. The Tokyo District Court ruled in favor of the prosecution, saying that Kato's actions had been meticulously planned. The district court's ruling stated that Kato drove past the intended crime scene 3 times before he was able to launch his attack. In act of hesitation, it suggested that he was aware of the gravity of what he was about to do. After pleading guilty to his crimes in 2010, Tomohiro Kato was eventually sentenced to death by hanging on March 24, 2011. On February 2, 2015, the Supreme Court rejected an appeal from Tomohiro Kato and his defense team to have his sentence reduced and the death penalty removed. Tomohiro Kato is still waiting on death row to this day. Conroe, Texas, April 2nd, 2011. Police Sergeant James Kellerman responds to a call after a shotgun-wielding man makes threats to employees of a bakery. The disgruntled man was discovered to be 54-year-old James Richard Hill.
Put it down! He's got the gun aimed at me. You got people in the store trying to get away from the windows. Put the gun down, man! Put it down! What's going on? Hey, we can talk about it, but put it down. Just put the gun down, man. We'll talk about it. Just put the gun down, man. We can't talk about it if you don't put it down. Come on, man.
Seems I disconnected for a second there.
Stay right here, okay? Damn it. I got you right here. Hey, tell my wife and kids I love them. I will. You're going to tell me. You are. You're fine.
On January 26, 2003, Corporal Bruce McKay of the New Hampshire Police Department made a traffic stop after finding a car parked in a wooded area. The vehicle belonged to 19-year-old Liko Kenny, who began to argue with the officer over his rights as a citizen.
I was just wondering what your name was.
And yours is?
Does it matter?
Yeah. You have your driver's license handy?
Yeah, why?
Can I have it, please?
What for?
I'll explain to you why.
Actually, no, I didn't hear why you need my driver's license.
Because you're in a suspicious place at a suspicious time.
How am I in a suspicious place by a suspicious time?
You're operating a motor vehicle. You're required to produce your driver's license and your registration on request.
Why?
Have
I
you
do
been
have
the
my
reason?
driver's license, but why do I have
Then
to
produce it, please.
Why? For what reason?
I explained to you why.
Because I asked what your name was? You were getting back in your vehicle. You weren't asking me what my name was. Do I have to give you my driver's license just because
Either that or you can be arrested for failure to identify yourself.
Why do I have to identify myself? You don't shine your flashlight in my eyes, please. Why do I have to identify myself to you?
Because you're required by law.
What law says I have to tell you my name?
You didn't take a motor vehicle exam to get your driver's license.
I did take a motor vehicle exam.
By any chance did you take a motor vehicle course?
Yeah.
Then you should know that.
Is that what? Someone sitting in their car has to tell someone their name?
When at any time you're operating a motor vehicle,
I'm not
and you're
operating a motor vehicle.
you started the car, it's operated. It's operated. Oh, I was wondering why you had such an attitude. All right.
I'm wondering why you had an attitude with me. I was just wondering who it was.
Okay, just stay where you are, Liko. back in your car, Lico.
Why?
Because I told you to. Do it now.
I don't have to do what people say just because they're being bossy.
Hey, get in your car, or you'll sit in mine. I'm giving you a lawful order to get back in your car now.
Why do I?
You're on video and you're on audio. If you want to pursue it, go sit in your car.
Isn't this a public area?
Go sit in your car, Lico.
For how long do I have to sit in my car?
When I'm done,
When can I have my license back?
you will get in your car or you will sit in mine in handcuffs.
Why will I sit in your car for handcuffs? This is a public place.
That's correct.
I have the right to stand here. I also have the right to know what you're doing with my license, when you're
You know you don't, Lico.
how long you intend to.
Maybe you should go back to school.
Why should I go back to school? Going to school
Get back in your car.
Why you're giving me a hard time?
You can sit in the back of my car
No,
until I'm
I'm not
done.
gonna sit in the back of your car. I'm not gonna. I just want to know why.
44
you're not giving
kilograms.
me my license. What are you doing with my license? I don't have the right to know what you're doing with my property.
Clear to copy for New Hampshire 21.
I do know my rights.
Surname
I
of
have
Kenny,
legal.
K-E-N-N-E-Y.
Tell me when
First
I get
of
my
Lico,
license back.
L-I-K-O. Middle P-Paul. And if you can tell, I'm 10-8. 1983, 0426. I'm off at the park, which is on Dow Ave. Get back in your car.
Why are you harassing me, man? Can I ask you? Why can't I just ask you?
Turn up your hands on your
No.
back.
What do not touch me. Don't point your hands on me. I'm asking you a simple question.
Get in the fucking car. Do it
My
now.
car. Get in my
Get
car.
in your car.
What are you doing? Twisting?
Sit down.
Not touch me. I don't have the authority to tell someone not to put their hands on me.
Not as a police
Not in
officer,
this
no.
country.
You have a
Why
requirement
does
to
a police officer
comply.
go down the street beating kids up? You just go, what, you going to spray me with pepper spray? You better
If it
spray me
comes
with
to
pepper
that.
spray because I'm going to take you to court and be like, this jerk pulled me out of my car, took my license,
Pulled you out of your car?
Wouldn't tell
Tell
me,
it through the videotape.
wouldn't tell me what he was doing with my license, wouldn't tell me how
I
long
don't
he
need
was
to.
having
I don't need to.
steal stuff from people, hands on people, give people orders. Who gives you the right to do this? This is a free country. You don't have the right to harass me. Give me my license back.
I recommend you go sit back in your
I
car.
recommend you give me my license back because I'm driving home. Because I
You're
don't
not
have
going
to
anywhere right now.
Oh yeah, why? Why? I
Because
don't have the right to be pulled in here. You gonna tell
that's
me I
not
don't
what I
have the right
said.
to be pulled in here?
I asked you for your
Are
driver's
you gonna
license.
tell me that I don't have the right to go home now?
Right now, you don't have the
Why
right.
don't
You're
I have
being
the right to
seized.
go home? My mom is
Because
expecting
you're
our
being
car at home.
seized.
I was
Well,
waiting
you're going to have to
here
wait.
for a little while to see if my friends were gonna come home from the Super Bowl. I have the right to be here. You don't have the right to give me orders. You don't have the right to put your hands on me. You don't have the right to take my driver's license, and you don't have the right to keep me here without a good reason. Is there another cop coming here?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a state cop coming here?
I don't
State
know.
cop. I'm requesting that you call a state cop.
That's
have
good
to
for
do
you.
that.
No, I don't.
What kind of cop are you? You make the rules? You get to do whatever you want to whoever you want and push people around because you have a badge? You're not here to
Where
be
are
mean
you
to people.
from, Lico?
I'm from here. I don't have to be pushed around. I don't have to be threatened because I'm waiting here. Do I?
You have to wait here, and you should
Why
be
do I
waiting
have
in
to
your
wait
car.
here? Why
I'm not
don't
going to
you give me
explain
my
any
license?
more to you.
You have
You
to
need to get
explain
into your
yourself.
car.
Why are you harassing me?
You
Why
need to
are
get into
you
your car.
harassing me?
You need to get into your car.
If I get into my car, I'm driving home. I'm asking you for my fucking license back.
Go sit in
You
your
don't have
car.
the right to harass me
Go
like
sit in
this.
your car.
You do not have the right to harass me like this. You gonna give me my license back?
No, sir.
Why are you not gonna give me my license back? I'm gonna go down the street so you can get a real one.
Kinda weird.
Currently,
This is 5 crazy police dashcam videos.
elected their turn hostile.
Let's put one of my favorite videos. Maybe you have here to catch a predator. Predator.
You ready for me?
This is a This is such a good video. This guy entered the
How are you?
house
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How was your drive?
to be with this girl that obviously is a bait.
Well, look, we got
So
these
therefore,
chairs. You have to sit down.
from Chris Hansen,
Yeah, look.
and the
It's a
delivery
massage
between
chair.
him and
Vibrates when
Hansen
you
is
press the
just so funny.
Look. Oh my
Like
god.
Hansen
Which one is it?
has some fun.
You can use either
like
one of it. Tells
saying
you. There's one for your
the
butt, there's
things
one for
to
your lower
him.
back, and there's one for your upper back.
There is a part
for my
where
butt.
it kinda imitates him also.
You can pretty much
So right now
tell the
we're
difference.
almost
Holy,
28
yep, that's my
minutes
butt.
in the
So
stream,
good,
and
right?
I thought you had long
there haven't
hair.
been too
Do
many
you like it? I dyed it by myself.
drop of frames, but
It's very
it's
pretty.
weird. Like
Where's
Oh
the
my
pizza?
God.
like
I was
the
waiting to
stream
eat because I thought you were
disconnects
bringing some.
at certain
Oh, I bring
times.
you any pizza?
Well, are you gonna bring me something?
Well,
I
yes,
have
was. And I did.
a hunch that
Did
maybe
you
this
bring
is
condoms?
Yes, I did.
every
Where
5
are
to
they?
6
Out in the
minutes.
truck.
So let's see
What are they
if
gonna
my
do in
theory
the
is
truck
correct.
if we're in here?
Well, yell at me, why don't you? I haven't had a kiss
So I think
yet.
that Shadow looks
Oh.
realistic enough.
Well, then what
I
did
mean,
you want to
it
do?
doesn't matter
Well,
because
I kiss
this
first.
background photo is a render.
Can I have a kiss
It's not
first?
Well, let's
an
talk
actual photo.
first. We just got
Okay.
here.
Would you like me
Uh,
to go on the truck with myself?
No, it's all right.
No? You don't want your thing right
yeah, I
now?
think
The present I
that's
gave you?
fine.
Well, what is it?
Or maybe
Well, I
I
can't
will
tell
put
you. That wouldn't be much of a present if I told
a
you.
shadow back
Well,
here,
we can go get it in a little bit or something, okay?
Okay.
so like it's
Are you nervous?
close
A
to
little
these.
A little bit, not as bad what you thought you would be.
Not
What's the name of
as
this
bad,
thing?
But
Like
I still am
these
kind of nervous. I'd rather like talk a little bit first and then like so I'm more
toolbox.
comfortable, you know?
That's like cool.
Let's
I'm really glad.
put
I like seeing you.
another
Yeah, I like
layer
seeing you
here
Good.
for the
So,
This is getting hot. How come?
oh, because press the
shadow
red button.
at the back of the
Like here,
case.
You gonna have a seat too?
Let's
I like
use
to sit on the
the
edge.
same
Do you?
Yeah.
shadow.
Hi, sir.
How are you?
Some people
All right,
may
how are you
use
doing?
like
happening?
the
Not too
black
much.
color to make the shadow and use
Boston
a
fan?
multiply transparency.
Yeah, actually, I don't even
But
watch
I
baseball.
think
But it's a Boston cat.
it looks
It's Boston
better
Cat.
if you just
what are you
grab
up to
the,
now?
the
Not a
shadows
whole
that
lot.
are already
Not a whole lot.
on the object.
Well, I'll
So,
tell you, for the last
okay, let's
several days you've been up to a lot. You're a pretty prolific
select
chatter
the
there.
shape of the case. Let's paint it
You want to
there
explain
on the
yourself?
back. And I think I need
Not really.
just
I'd never
one
really was gonna do
shadow
You weren't really gonna do
layer,
anything. No.
not like
So you brought
at the
condoms,
base of the case is
What else
like
did you
you need more
I brought
because
her a
it's
bracelet.
a bracelet,
some of the cases touching the
and her,
floor. Some of the
And
some
she
of
is
it
how old?
is a little more
It's supposed to be 13.
how do you
to be
say it's
13.
over the floor,
And how
like
old are
it's
you?
not touching, so
37
that's
37.
just 2 layers or 3 layers of
You have kids?
shadows.
today.
But
No,
for
unfortunately.
the back, I intend to use one.
I've got nieces though.
Nieces.
that
I
think the
just
world of.
put
Now, you talk about your nieces in
I coloring the layer,
and you
and
talk about how you like to
I
spoil the
don't
nieces and how you
think
like to spoil
you can
this
see this on the
13-year-old
screen
girl like you spoil your nieces.
because it doesn't capture additional
Is this the way
dialogue.
you spoil young women?
No.
But I'm just
Now, what's
applying
your
a Gaussian blur.
This is what I was afraid of.
What were you afraid of?
Stupid move.
What were you afraid of?
Just because she
Okay.
was a nice girl and
She was a nice girl. You still haven't told me your name, though.
What I like about this
Lauren
kind
what?
of graph,
Armstrong.
Armstrong. Where do you
editing,
live, Lauren?
photo editing
In Nashville now.
jobs
Nashville. What do you do in Nashville?
is you can see
Actually, I
the
work at a construction company.
difference before and
Actually, I just
after,
started there last week.
and that's
Building
I like that
now,
because you
building
can see the
gym
result
for
is
a
just
church.
so
A gym
obvious.
for church.
Blur, so
Is that a good job?
Yeah.
you can compare it yourself.
Now, besides all this chat,
I think
here,
that's
you
true
go
of
through that, and you
every
also sent
graphic
a
design
whole bunch of pictures.
piece, but this has a special alluring. So
Now, why
maybe
would you
you
think that's appropriate?
don't see that I'm doing anything, like I'm
It's
just
not. Those are all your
moving the
pictures. right?
cursor around. But
Is
if
that all you do in your
I
spare time?
No.
if I turn off the layer and
You ever get in
turn it
trouble
on again,
like this
then you
before?
can see the difference
I've
in
never done
the
this before.
You've
in
never
the
done
back
it
of the
before.
case. As you can see that little shadow.
Have you ever
It
met
may
anybody in
be
person who you first met online in a chat room?
a minor detail, but
This is the
it
first
can
time.
really make a big
So
difference.
what made you, all of a sudden, for the first time, get online, chat up a 13-year-old girl, and
There.
drive
So,
up from Nashville to meet her?
as you can see, these two wrenches are done, the case is done. The drill is also done,
sent
but
her
I
naked
have to edit
You have an
the
explicit
background.
conversation.
So, because here is a screwdriver that is in the original
What
picture.
does that add up to?
This thing gotta go. This goes on other tool instead of this one. And then the other, this, and this. I have to edit too.
At first, you seem like the
Okay.
Good Samaritan, the protector.
So my theory was wrong.
Don't
It
tell me your
didn't
last name.
disconnect
Don't
after
ever
5
tell
minutes.
anyone from the internet your last name, okay?
Weird.
Okay, why? Because there are some real weirdos on here sometimes, and they might try to go looking for you.
You're one of those
So
weirdos.
don't ever tell them your last name, your address, your phone number, the town you live in, or the school you go to. You're one of those weirdos. I mean, was that some kind of a ruse to gain her trust?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. So how did it go from, hey, be careful, don't give anybody your last name, to, hi, here's some naked pictures of myself and I'm coming over with condoms?
I don't know.
You don't
When
know.
they broke down,
Well, you must know something.
Chris Hansen is like saying the
I mean, help me to understand.
stuff they said
I don't
on the
know
chats.
why
That's
don't know.
I even did.
You don't know
that's
why
the
you
most
did it.
clean.
Well, I think I know
pleasure.
why you did it. You did it 'cause
Any
you wanted to have sex with
TC8P fan will know that the reference.
I don't think that.
No, what?
Okay.
That was it.
You don't think it was it? Well, why don't
So-
you help me out? Why don't you tell me what it was then?
Okay, which tools should I do next? I think
I wasted 5 years of my
the
life on the internet talking to girls that
most
gained my trust.
easier, I think the most fastest is going to be
Seemed like
this
somebody I could trust.
You could trust.
Milwaukee lamp.
So when you say you
This
spent 5
big
years on the
thing
internet,
here.
what, getting taken advantage of by women?
And the reason that
In what
I
way?
won't be, I think it's going to be faster is because the light that is in these two sources
I was
are not
watching
affecting
State
it directly.
that's
So
when
I
started
think
going
I'm
on
going
the
to
internet.
make
you
just
live
a
in
minor
Washington State.
edit.
You started
You know,
going out
just
with when it
correct the exposure,
I met a girl.
and that should
her
be
name
it.
was
That
Mandy
should be
James, and
almost
she told me that
80% of the work.
her
So okay,
daughter was her niece.
let's
She was
go
watching
to this layer.
her niece. Well, she was actually had custody of her niece.
Let's make a group,
And then,
and let's put
3 years,
as a name
3 years later, I moved back to Maine
Lámpara because
just to be close to her because she lived in Pennsylvania.
I'm
And
I still
didn't
speak
date anyone, I didn't
Spanish.
see anyone.
And
Because of her.
all right, so
let's
what happened?
correct. Let's see the level
back to Maine.
curves or
I
exposure.
was talking to her
Let's
on
go
the
with
phone.
exposure.
And she,
Let's bring
my
it
sister
just a
wanted to
notch
say hi to her, and
down.
my sister had been on the internet
Just
for a couple of years. and
like
she was able to read people pretty good.
there. And now let's go to the
And
color
what
balance.
And she get on the phone
And let's
with
try
her,
to match the color,
and she,
the whites, the blacks, and the
she
red
got off the
to
phone. She was only on the phone
and
with
the
about-
same, their
2
equivalents,
minutes.
but in the
she
background
got off the
photo
phone with her and
or in the
told me
tools that I have
she
already
wasn't real.
She
edited.
wasn't real.
For example, the
She told me
ranches,
she was lying to me, and she'd been lying to me all along.
uh,
Did you ever meet this woman?
the same color
Did you
will
send her
be
money?
this. I have to match this color to this one.
And money, I sent
But
her
the most,
all kinds of Dale Earnhardt
um,
things.
Dale Earnhardt.
the best way to be sure that it's in the same color range
Race
is
car driver.
seeing the neutral colors. That's
And so
white,
because you got taken
the gray,
advantage by a couple
and
of women on the internet, you thought it was
the
okay
black
to take
colors.
advantage
As you
of
can
people
see
who
in
were
this
wrong.
background photo,
No,
see
I
that
didn't.
the black color is different from this one.
Very
This
happy
is
that
a
you
little more
talked to me
colder,
before
a
talking
little
to
more
anyone
blue.
else, though.
So in the color
This way
balance
you'll be
that I
safe.
have here, we have to change to shadow and just crank up these sliders.
Well, here's
There
let
is
me take you down
no,
the road.
well,
This is how
there
it
is
goes.
a
Start
little
with this.
technicality and stuff like
Then it
that, but
goes to- so this is thicker
personally
than
I just
this chat.
change this with my, I start to see with my eye
I've been chatting with this young woman for
which color I have to change. So,
and so it
for
starts
example,
with you
there
being the
it's
protective
blue. I
older
think I
brother
have to
type.
crank up a little the magenta.
Flip through dozens and dozens of pages here.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, it builds into
I have to make it a little
very
more
sexually explicit conversation.
darker.
Right?
As you can see,
I wish I were sticking it
this
in you right now.
black color is just a little more darker.
You tell her to delete her archives after we stop talking again, okay? Why did you want her to delete her archives? Help me out.
I
You didn't want to get in trouble.
Like
I didn't want her to get
a
in trouble by
little
her parents.
touch of yellow. I think we're okay with that.
I mean, this goes on and on and on.
Okay. So maybe
you think the
you
audience
see
thoughts about me
this
before
and
you go to
think
sleep?
there is not much difference between this
Talk about
this
getting married to her.
current edition and the originals. But let's see how turning out the filters,
Whoa, what do you mean she was 18?
the difference.
I meant when she was 18.
Well, you were going to marry her when she turned 18. But you're just going to have sex with her from the ages of 13 to 18 then. Are you excited about me or my penis?
Mm-hmm. Looks good.
Did you bring anything else with you tonight?
Like what?
Like anything?
Nope.
Food, alcohol?
Nope.
So just the bracelet and the condoms? Nothing else? What do you think ought to happen to you? Oh, here's a good one. Is Miss Vagina thinking about Mr. Penis? What is she thinking? What's up with that? What do you think ought to happen to you? Help me out.
I think I should go to counseling to get off the internet.
You should go to counseling and get off the internet. Did you ever say to yourself, hey man, I got a problem here?
No, because I never thought I did.
You never thought you did. Does this incident make you think that perhaps you have a problem? What are you going to do about it?
I got to do some things I can't do that. Oh my God.
Well, do you ever watch television much? You ever watch a program called Dateline NBC? Well, there's something I got to tell you. I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on a girl's. Now, you're free to walk out of this house right now. But if there's anything else you want to say, now would be the time to say it. Sheriff's office, down! Get down! On the ground, on the ground! Put your hands behind your back.
Here on LoopNet, the search is on for commercial real estate. Traditional marketing methods don't make the cut.
This 32-year-old guy wants to spend a Sunday afternoon chilling with a 13-year-old girl after texting her about getting stoned. But Mike Manzi's date is about to go up in smoke. You'll be shocked when you hear what Manzi does for a living. He's a math tutor. You heard it right. He teaches some of New York and Connecticut's wealthiest children how to solve complicated equations. But you might say Manzi flunked basic arithmetic, because 32 plus 13 adds up to trouble. Online, he calls himself Mike Thrilla. He's a self-employed tutor with a bachelor's degree in mathematics from a small New York college. He's obsessed with pizza, and he says he smokes marijuana often. This is the Sting House set up in Fairfield, Connecticut, an upscale town on Connecticut's Gold Coast about 50 miles from Manhattan. The watchdog group Tetrad Corps is working with the Fairfield cops to bust adult men looking to spend time with 12 and 13-year-old children. Inside and outside, we've set up more than a dozen hidden cameras, and in our virtual control room, Tetrad's operatives are communicating with Manzi.
Any update on Mike?
Mike's supposed to be on his way.
These are some of the texts the 32-year-old man who calls himself Mike Thrilla sent to our decoy, who he thought was 13.
Did you blaze? You're my soulmate. Wow, you are so cute. You look way older, by the way.
But he also admits he shouldn't be talking to a 13-year-old.
Well, you were cool and cute, too. I just know I could get in trouble even talking to you, you know?
But Manzi continues texting. He later appears to become suspicious and asks the decoy to send a custom pic with his name on it. His fears that the girl isn't real are apparently quashed.
So let's continue with this lamp. Now we have to make this shadow. So we need first a layer for these contact points from the these kind of, what do you say, these legs and the floor. So here is a layer, then I need another layer for a general shadow of the whole thing, and then another layer which was a little more transparent because this is a large tall object, so it needs this other more smooth shadow so it can look more realistic. I don't think we have to make a back shadow like we did with the case. Okay, let's see. Maybe I don't need it.
Well, what are you doing here today? Well,
it depends
I'm here because I was
on how we are how is the progress of
she's
this.
talking to people that are a lot
Okay.
younger, a lot older on the website.
Now, why were you so concerned about a 13-year-old girl?
Well, she's talking to other people that are obviously the same age as me.
And how old are you?
I'm 32.
You're 32.
Yes.
So you came over to make sure she was okay.
Well, I came over just to make sure that
Everything was fine.
everything was okay. I was not.
So you were going to search the house just now to make sure what?
Well, well, I mean, I don't know. She could come. She could be here with a group of people, for all I know, and she obviously was. I mean, don't you think? Don't you think that would be like a safe idea?
What was today's lesson supposed to be?
Today's lesson for me.
Today's lesson for you.
Today's lesson for me was to not, unfortunately, really worry about other people.
Now you're a tutor,
Concerned with.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
And who do you tutor?
I tutor are these ages, older ages.
What do you tutor them in?
Mathematics.
Mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
What about smoking marijuana?
Well, I mean, it's not really something that I try to tutor people in, but
Well,
still.
it seems like it from the chat here. Well, you're cool and cute too. I just know I could get in trouble even talking to you, you know.
Well, yes, of course, but you know, look, may I please leave?
Not
I'm
just
not.
yet. Not
Okay.
just yet. I have some more questions for you.
Will I be able to leave after your question?
Did you blaze?
Wait,
Yes.
sir?
Yes.
Wait, are you answering me or are you reading stuff?
Yes. You can leave after I ask you a couple questions.
Are you sure? Are there police outside or anything?
I'll get to that in a
Please,
minute.
sir, can you please just tell me? Because I really can't.
So what it looks like, Mike, is that you came here to smoke weed with a 13-year-old girl, and then whatever was going to happen was going to happen.
Yeah, but that's not entirely what was going on.
Explain it to me.
I just told you. I was coming here to make sure everything was okay.
Right.
It really wasn't that far. I wanted to make sure that there was no like, obviously, like, she invited me in and there were not.
So you were just being a good Samaritan today.
Well, I was trying to a certain extent, but, like, you know, I was coming here to make sure everything was okay.
13-year-old girl.
I deal with kids all the time.
Right. Would you think that the parents of the kids you tutor would be comfortable with you coming to visit a 13-year-old girl after talking about smoking marijuana and hanging out?
Probably not. You're
Probably
right.
not.
You're right.
Now, you tutor kids.
Sir, may I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
First off, that is not completely true.
I have a couple more questions for you, though.
I really don't want to answer any more questions, and I feel...
Do you have marijuana with you?
No, I do not.
Is it in your car?
No, it is not.
Then why did you say you were going to come over here and blaze? What's the lighter for?
I smoke cigarettes. They're in my car.
Again, you see how this looks.
I know how it looks, and I'm
A
sorry.
32-year-old guy who deals with kids all the time comes over to visit a 13-year-old girl who's alone after a discussion about smoking marijuana together.
Sir, I understand this. I'm sorry.
That's you, right? Do you blaze? Did you blaze? Yes. You're my soulmate. You call a 13-year-old girl a soulmate?
We were just talking. Come on, please.
Come on, you're 32. You got nothing else to do on a Sunday?
I'm gonna watch football.
Yeah, here with a 13-year-old girl after you blazed. You see how this looks.
I know how it looks. I'm very sorry. May I please leave?
Math tutor Mike Manzi's number is up. He thought he was going to spend the day smoking pot with a 13-year-old girl, but instead he's spending it with me and the police.
There's something you need to know.
Is there cops?
There's something you need to know.
Please.
I'm Chris Hansen.
No, you're not.
Is I?
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Please let me go home, guys.
Sir,
Guys.
it'd be best
One of
if you
the
went out this
he's one of the biggest predators in this
I
show.
really can't afford to do this. I can't. I'm really not here for any malintent. I really can't. Please do not.
But look at the chat.
I really just want to. Please let me go home, guys. I'm gonna get arrested going that way. Please, no, I can't. I can't. I won't. Please.
You can't go this way.
Please, man.
You can't go this way.
Guys, this is horrible. This is horrible.
There's only one way out, through the garage, where the Fairfield, Connecticut cops are waiting with a pair of handcuffs with his name on them.
Police. I know.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
Please.
Put your hands behind your back.
Guys.
Hands behind your back.
Listen,
Follow the
listen,
instructions. Follow
Listen,
the
just follow the
relax.
instructions, okay? Just calm down. Just follow the
Please, no, I
instructions. We'll
can't.
explain
I
everything.
can't.
No, just relax.
Please, I can't.
Manzi argues with the cops, and while he's not resisting arrest, he sure isn't being overly cooperative. Listen closely. The cops tell Manzi they may have to pull out the taser.
You're gonna get
Kneel down.
I'm gonna what?
You're gonna
Kneel
get
down.
I'm gonna get down. I'm gonna get down.
Get down.
Kneel down.
I'm getting down.
All right.
We'll explain everything to you, okay?
He's put into the back of the unmarked car and hauled off to the police station. The only numbers this math tutor will be crunching today are how much his bail will be.
Right all the way over. Scoot over a little bit.
Yes, Mike, we are. He takes off his jacket before posing for a mugshot. His t-shirt is a math equation. It's a t-shirt popular with graduates of MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. But he didn't go there. He got his degree from a small New York college.
All right, face the wall.
As he's booked, he bites his fingernails.
Lace is gonna come out of your shoes. Are you right-handed?
Left-handed.
And then he's fingerprinted before he decides to waive his right to remain silent and speak to detectives.
So now that you read all this and you understand it, you're willing to talk to me about, we can talk about what happened today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right.
During the interrogation with the detective, Manzi fidgets a lot. He lets out a big sigh, but it's understandable. He's on the hot seat in the ice-cold interrogation room.
I do. I understand the age difference. I
And
do.
it's important that you understand that.
I do. I do. I understand the age difference, and and that's why I really was not intending on doing anything with this girl.
What'd you think when she said she was 13?
I really felt like there was definitely a position that she was putting herself in that wasn't wasn't going to be a good one.
Yeah.
And she said that her mother was coming home today.
Right.
Until about 6 o'clock. So I was gonna go there. I was gonna go hang out. And if her mother ended up, coming in, I would have explained to her what was going on. But that, besides that would have been, that's all I would have done.
Were you guys gonna go out to eat or anything? I know you guys talk about food a lot in here.
We did talk a lot about food, but we didn't.
I was getting hungry kind of. Actually,
I wasn't
reading
sure.
the text.
I have no idea of
All
what
right.
was,
You guys talk about weed a lot. You guys
we
smoke?
spoke about that a little bit. Yeah.
Was the plan to smoke and eat?
I mean, I was planning on trying to just like I said, being there, making sure things were okay. I would have definitely sat down and ate. I would have hung out, but that's pretty much it.
The detectives ask him about a text exchange with Tetrad's decoy when he called who he thought was a 13-year-old girl, his soulmate.
I'm going to do some yoga later, LOL.
How's your downward dog?
You remember what you said?
No, I don't. But you can.
How's your downward dog?
Well, okay, yeah, but that's a yoga move still. But
it is, but
yeah,
like, come on.
I mean,
I'm a guy.
understand.
You're a guy. I get it. So you're putting a 13-year-old girl into some sort of danger. A 13-year-old who can't make those decisions and judgments on their own because of their age, and that's why they have the law.
Because Manzi never sent any sexual texts, he was charged only with one felony, criminal attempt to commit risk of injury to a minor. He pleaded guilty and got a suspended sentence of 3 years and was placed on probation.
Do you think he was up to more than just sharing a joint?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, but that's an example of somebody that we entrust to make our kids and child
Here
lives
comes the
better.
artistic part
It
of
happens all the
this.
time. We have baseball coaches.
Okay, now I have to draw the shadow. I can use a mask
hope that they're guiding them in the right way.
and use the selection
This is an
tool,
example
but
of something that certainly was inappropriate.
I think this is a
guiding that
better
child
way.
in a different way. But clearly his behavior is inappropriate.
Manzi
I'm just
dodged
going
a
to make
big
the
bullet. You might say
shape,
the teacher
and
learned
then
the
I'm
lesson
going to
today.
use
Don't
a blur
contact
into.
underage children.
So it should be the shadow,
If you
something
look
like
at the
this.
dictionary definition of a predator, you'll probably see the face of Michael Gentile.
Shape-wise.
My little angel, I love you, baby, so much.
Gentile left that creepy message
This
for our decoy. From her text, he
this
clearly knows
predator
that she
is
says she's
one
only
of the
13.
creepies I have
The text he sent her will make
seen
you
in the
sick.
show.
Do you think you could take a picture
I
of your
think
blank
it's,
for me? Feel sexy about yourself and take a
an
picture.
old
Are
guy,
you going to take a picture for me after
and
you
then
shower?
he
Why is Gentile
start
so
to
focused on getting
he enter in the house and start to
He's
shooting
64, old enough to be
the
girl's
windows,
grandfather, but he's
and she
texting
says
like an
you gotta
oversexed
get
boy
in the car,
wanting to go steady.
and actually he runs for
You're my girlfriend,
he runs for
and
it
I'm
when
your boyfriend.
he sees Chris.
so much,
That's
my angel.
something
hold you
that
in
many
my
predators
arms and know that you are
won't do.
actually mine.
Like they accept their fate, but this
He
guy
thinks
no,
that day
he
is about
doesn't.
to come. But what this predator
Okay, so
doesn't
the
know
shadow is in
that the
place.
only
Let's
embrace he'll be
make
getting
this
is
one
the long arm of the law.
like that.
After an hour drive, Gentile
And
arrives at the Sting House.
in order for it to
Car down the
not
street,
see,
looks at the door.
in order for this to look
He comes inside
more
for just a
realistic,
moment.
let's apply
It all
a
seems like it's going as planned.
Gaussian
Then,
blur,
when he gets inside the door,
but let's make it really subtle.
it seems Grandpa has his antenna up for more than sex, and suddenly he bolts.
Do you want anything to drink?
I'll be outside, okay? Where are you?
I'm gonna go grab my jacket, alright?
Mike? Yeah? Come here a minute, please.
Looks like I won't get a chance to invite Grandpa Gentile to have a seat, but outside a dozen cops are waiting for him.
Got anything on you? Just a little knife in my pocket.
His only date tonight with detectives at headquarters.
I just come have a seat here.
There, the officers search him a second time. They find a key card for a local hotel. Gentile lives only an hour away. Why would he need a room? As detectives wait for a judge to issue a search warrant for the hotel room, they start the booking process. And the line of questioning he would have faced in the kitchen with me.
Single, divorced, married?
Married. Soon to be divorced.
Married, soon to be divorced. Meaning he knew this at some point was going to be on TV in a Hansen versus Predator investigation, and it wasn't going to go over well at home.
Remember, Gentile told his wife, who he affectionately calls the witch, he was going out to help a friend. She hasn't a clue he was going out to meet a teen. Cops take his fingerprints.
Just relax.
His mugshot.
Here we go.
And then he learns how much his bail will be.
Your bond is $500,000.
The cops tell him he's got
There,
one
I
phone
think,
call.
like it's a little like rough. You can still see the shape, and that's what I don't want to. I want it to be really subtle, really subtle. I have to turn the transparency a little more. Yeah.
She
Opacity.
apparently thinks this is a big joke.
This is
There.
Officer Whitman, Fairfield Police.
Now I'm going to have to do a little analysis of how the light will impact this object. So I'm going to be a dash here, and a big point here.
Who take him to the interrogation room where he signs away his right to remain silent.
What is your reason to be in Fairfield, Connecticut today?
I was meeting,
Right.
a friend to go to a movie.
And like many of the men we catch, he claims he thought the girl was an adult. His little kitten tells him she's only 13 years old.
How old's your friend?
As far as I understood, she was in her 30s.
What was your dialogue between the two of you?
Just different things about everything.
Things,
Sex to school, you know.
things,
Sex at
and
school?
Yeah, everything, parents, and, you know.
Do you go to school?
No.
Does a 30-year-old go to school?
She said she did.
What school?
She said she was just studying at home.
there.
30-year-old studying at home?
Now let's apply the
Whose house is
blur
that that you
field
As far as I know, it's
there.
hers.
Hers?
Her parents.
30-year-old lives with her parents? You understand the charges that I told you?
Yeah, I didn't know she was a minor.
You didn't know she was a minor?
No, I thought she told me she was younger, but I thought we were just doing role play. But her thing, when I first met her, she
There.
said she was 34 or 36 or something.
There. Now
You're out there a lot on social media.
A little bit. Once
the
in a while.
next thing to do
What's
is
the common name you're using?
put a mask to
Michael,
so I can more specifically
You don't mind if I'm frank with you, do you?
edit the transparency.
Okay.
Alright. So we know you were here to meet somebody.
Okay.
We know that.
Okay.
But she never said she was 30 or 34 years old. She said she was 13.
When I okay.
Well, tell me. Tell me what you said.
when I first found her picture, said she was 34.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
says
it
right
does.
here.
Mm.
I'm 13.
It says.
And your response is 13. Now that's gorgeous. Okay, so you want us to believe that a 30-year-old woman who's
I
role
think
playing about 30.
I'm seeing the problem
She's
here.
still playing a role?
Yeah.
You know when you
This
tell her you're old enough to be a grandfather?
should be
I guess so.
like something
You know
like
what?
this.
Stop the How's that sound, Mike?
You are parents' worst nightmare.
You sit here and you tell us you're role playing, that you weren't here to see a 13-year-old. You think your wife's and your daughter gonna buy that that you just told us? I don't think so. So sit there and think about that for the next 3 days while you're in the jail cell. Because they ain't gonna believe it. I'm gonna hate to be making that phone call. And that's the story you're gonna keep? Good luck to you. Have a nice life.
Gentile won't need that hotel room. He's got a bed, the holding cell at the Fairfield police station. As he's put behind bars, the cops have their warrant to search the room.
Police with a search warrant.
6 detectives carefully enter. They look under the mattress. They find his wallet, computer, and a tablet. And this.
Oh, there's the knife he was talking about.
They find Gentile's digital camera. Remember, he told the decoy he wanted to take pictures of her naked.
He was set up to actually photograph this sexual encounter in the hotel room.
Yeah, yeah. A kiddie porn manufacturing site. And that is an additional crime and an additional factor that we have to weigh.
Cops reportedly found 24 sexually explicit images of minors on his cell phone. He was charged with attempted second-degree sexual assault, attempted risk of injury to a minor, attempting to entice a minor by computer, and possession of child pornography. He pleaded guilty. Gentile might as well be on his way to Alcatraz. He could face several years in the Connecticut State Pen and be sentenced next month.
Have a nice life.
There is the shadow of this lamp. And as I predicted, that was the part that I was going to be more time spending. With the color balance, I'm not too keen with the grays on this one. I think it's too purple, so I'm going to reduce that. I'm going to also lean the. I'm going to lean the midtones towards the yellow slider.
His date with a 13-year-old is going to be on national TV.
There, and a little more cyan. So until now, the experience with the stream is I don't see it.
We're working with the cooperation of the Fairfield Police and the online watchdog group Tetrad Core. Tetrad posts pictures of actual 13-year-olds on social media. We're hiding their identity.
You can see the Photoshop.
It's not long before Sokol contacts
the Photoshop.
We'll call her Bailey, and the chat gets a little raunchy. Are you a virgin? LOL.
Shit.
Yeah, that
I
is
think
personal. No, I was with my
for
boyfriend once.
really long time,
Do you have pretty feet?
you were seeing only the Photoshop icon.
He then
Let
turns
me
the
see.
conversation
I don't think
very
so.
personal, asking questions no adult should ever ask a 13-year-old. Do you trim your blank? LOL, yeah. Do you think blank size matters? Nope, X was decent. I'm not that
Well,
big, but I know how
since
to
the last
satisfy a girl.
18
Sokol
minutes,
seems to be worried that
you were
Bailey
just
might be an
seeing
undercover cop, so he asks
the
for a
Photoshop,
custom pic to prove she's
the
real.
Photoshop
Take a
file
selfie
bar.
holding up 4
I don't know why.
fingers below your face, then I would know
But
it's really
the
you.
great news is that
My fear is that it's not you, that it's someone
this
else.
lamp
Of course not.
it has
Nails
its
him.
shadow.
Bailey sends the pic.
I
Sokol
corrected
sends
the
a creepy
midtones
reply.
here.
Your
Let me
hands
see if the
Sokol knows
highlights
the
can
girl
be
is
improved
13, and he says he knows
a little
what he's
bit,
doing
a
is
little
illegal.
better.
As a
I think I'm
44-year-old
still
guy,
seeing
talking to
this.
13-year-old
It
girls
has a
like
lot
this.
of
You know, I could be put in jail if
magenta.
the police found out we were intimate. The only way police would know if we ever got intimate is if someone saw us together.
Too much
You
green.
told the police.
There.
Not by me. Blank that. Well, tonight, intimacy is not on the menu. In fact, dinner is delayed. Sokol is late because he says
There.
his pipes
It's
sprung a leak.
done.
Hello?
So we have 4 items
He thinks he's
done.
calling Bailey to tell her he's late. But he's
Let's
actually speaking to
continue
a lawyer from
with
Tetrad in our virtual control.
this
Did your plumber get there yet?
this manual pump.
Late. Finally, his plumbing repaired, Sokol heads down I-95 for Connecticut. He picks up a pizza.
So this one is a little
What to wash it down with?
different because it has a
Mom has some vodka, but no rum.
distortion.
Arrives at the house. Our on-site decoy
Also, it has some levels. I don't know why.
lets him in
Let's
the door.
get rid of this.
Sorry about that. Come on in.
And
Did you find the house?
it has like a white border, like it wasn't trimmed or cropped from the original picture
Sorry, I'm really nervous.
in a good way. So we have to get.
Yeah, I'm okay.
We have to do that too.
Into it.
Okay, let's get rid of the mask and let's open the smart object so we can.
There's plates right behind.
So like the
There.
the small pizza
So
is as big as the big one. So
the best way
I didn't know.
or
like,
the
like use
recommended way to
like the really small one.
separate the background from the object is to use the pen tool, but this job is not necessary because it's a good quality photo, and I have just a background of a simple color. Do you see that I'm clicking randomly? It's because sometimes this like froze, so I'm changing the window with Alt Tab, so it unfreeze. But I think that it's also because of the screen. So the performance of my side of the screen is not as good. And I think today, later or other day, I'm going to make a test with the game to see if the configuration of this streaming platform is okay. It should be.
So, let's deal with this whole contract thing, because I'm just going to be thinking about it the whole time. Until we get that out of the way.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's really laggy. So I think that's how that is for today in Photoshop.